In this video, we take a detailed look at relay slate logic. This is absolutely awesome. Now, these are old relays. This predates the sorts of relays you often see, like Express in the 50s, 60s and 70s, and other sorts of relays like Schindler and all the main companies you would see. This predates it. This is much, much older. This is from 1900s to 1930s. And notice how big those relays are. This is much bigger, and this is really reliable. There's literally not much that can go wrong. What would go wrong with this? Well, you get debris build up from all the arcing on the contact. A spring could go wrong, but that is really simple to fix. In the actual whole overall, there's not much that could really properly go wrong with it. It's just so reliable, so big, so heavy duty. Notice you've got normally closed contact, normally open, and those move in reverse when it moves. Notice the interlock. That's door open contact, door closed contact. Both can't activate at once. So this one activates, the other one can't. Or if this one activates, that one can't. But both will never activate at the same time in the first place. If they did, something's gone severely wrong, like a short circuit. But if a short circuit did happen, this stops both activating. So if both those activated, it'd go boom, and the whole thing would explode. So this makes the repair, if something went wrong, a lot less of a repair than if it didn't have it. And there's literally isn't much that can go wrong with this. It's so well built, it's so reliable. This is beyond anything than reliability. Let's take a look underneath, and it is heavy. It's slate. Oh, that's heavy. That is really heavy, and that's what it looks like underneath. And this board, one of the best there is, completely reliable, and it's made by Dewhurst. Who would have thought it? Well, Dewhurst is actually an old company. Back then, apparently they're part of Marriott Scott. And there was generic parts in the 30s. Generic leaf companies actually first started in the 30s. One of the first being Pawn and Dunwoody. And these Dewhurst buttons, also in the 30s, made by Dewhurst. Look how big they are. You don't get buttons built like that by Dewhurst nowadays. And in the 30s, there were generic companies, but generic companies were a lot different. They were not actually crap then, simply because there was no crap parts they had to install. Generic lift companies had to install parts as good as any other lift company, so it was a whole different game back then. So this very impressive board, but not many relays on it. So how does it work? Well, let's go through exactly how this entire thing works. Now, this here is not the main slate relay board. This is a door extension board for running an automatic door. But the main board is actually no bigger than this. You would think the main board would be much, much bigger, but it's not. The main board has very few relays. So to demonstrate, to start with, let's use our imagination and pretend that this isn't the door board. Let's use our imagination and pretend this is the main board. It'd look very similar. You'd have main up relay, main down relay or contactor, and that runs the motor. Then you'd have relays for your floor calls, which should be about the same size as these ones. And that's it. It's that simple. You'd think it'd be a lot more, but it isn't. So how does it work? Well, let's say I want to go to the first floor. That's the middle floor. Ground is always down, second's always up. But first floor, it has to decide which way to go. Press first floor, the first floor relay will activate. Then a circuit will be made, and that circuit will be made using something I don't have, the mechanical positioning system. And the mechanical system creates circuits. And when that one activates, it'll make a circuit saying, if I'm on the ground floor, you need to go up to get to the first floor. Or if I'm on the second floor, it'd say, you need to go down. It'd literally make that circuit to run the up or down relay, depending on the direction. When the lift arrives at the floor, the circuit is cut, all with the mechanical positioning system. But not all lifts had a mechanical positioning system. Some were even simpler than that. Some had switches in the lift shaft, and the switch would move as it goes past. So on the first floor, there'd be a switch, and it'd be either you need to go down to the first floor, lift passes, as the lift passes, it switches it to say you need to go up to the first floor. And that's how it keeps track of whether you need to go up or down. So simple. Also, notice there isn't a safety relay. That's because safety relay was not necessary. All of the doors simply powered the board. So when you had a door open, the board has no power. It's disabled. The board simply can't work. It has no power. When all the doors are shut, the board's now powered. So no safety relay is necessary. So that's how the main board works. Let's go back and talk about the door extension board. And this is literally an extension board, plugs into the main board. Most lifts didn't have automatic doors back then. Automatic doors was a novelty. When Otis did them with automatic doors, I think other companies did, but on a generic, like that was speciality to have automatic doors. That was not the normal thing. So they then invented this board to plug into their main board, just to run the automatic doors. So then, it's now time to demonstrate how this all works. And here's my assistant, Percy the moorhen. Right, let's press the button to open the doors to get in the lift. That happens, door open contact activates, doors are opening. Psh, doors are open, that releases, then timing capacitor gets a charge, and that's now a timer. So, now if I press to go to the first floor, let's press the first floor, the timer is now overridden. Because pressed to go to first floor, but even though timer's not yet empty, this one activates the door timer relay. So the door timer relay activates, and that then runs the door close contactor. And the doors are now closing. Once the doors are closed, then the latch relay will be pressed, but that will then unpress. And when it unpresses, the unlatching cam releases, because usually these doors will have, there's a bit opens the door, then on the side will be a separate roller. So you've got a roller on the side that goes, and that releases. And then safety's now present. As safety's now present, the main board now has power and the lift moves. The lift arrives at the floor, same thing happens. Firstly, the door has to latch to unlock, door open contact activates, and the door opens. And it's that simple. It's really, really simplistic, yet it all works. So now, what about inspection? Is there an inspection relay? Let's put on inspection. Well, turns out there's not even a need for an inspection relay. It's so simple. Doing that has literally just isolated all the floors. All that switch does is turn off power to the call buttons, so the lift can no longer be called. That's all it does. Now, these also, as well as that, these buttons become active. So if I press open button, I literally just puts power into the door open contact. Same for up, down, close, press close, puts power into the door close contact. And it's that simple. So there's no inspection relay and no safety relay, yet it all works safely. So there's a couple other things to finish off the video. In here we've got fuses. Those are the main fuses. They only use once it pops, it then has to be replaced. Then we've got here trips. And I didn't even realise I had trips till recently. This, as she says in there, set bottom of pot to required tripping current. So you turn that and it sets the tripping current. Then when that trips, it goes pop and pops out to trip. And that means if it trips, you just push it back in and you don't actually need to replace a fuse. Finally, what if there's two sets of automatic doors? Well, I actually came across this recently in St Thomas's Hospital. Turns out there's an extra third slate board, and depending on the floor from a mechanical precision system, it either diverts power into the board or not. If the board is third slate board, if it has power, it's the left set of doors that gets the power from the door board. If it's not powered, then it's the right set of doors that gets the power from the door board. And it's that simple. The only thing is, you can't have two sets of doors opening at the same time on the same floor. That's the only downside. But it's literally, you can run a whole lift with very, very few relays on a giant piece of slate, really heavy, with oversized relays that never go wrong. Simplistic, but far better than any modern day lift. Good idea.